Ada, no! What are you doing?
It's okay, Danny. That's not Josh.
Joshua?
If you hear that, you kill your brother.
The Nintendo 64 was home to some of the most groundbreaking games of its time, with a library that spanned genres, pushed the boundaries of 3D gaming, and introduced us to unforgettable characters and worlds. These titles defined a generation of gaming. In today's video, we'll dive into 15 of the most unique N64 games that took the console to places we didn't think possible. These games weren't just fun, they were revolutionary in their own right, making waves in ways that still resonate with gamers today. Blast Corps. Can you imagine being tasked with stopping a runaway nuclear missile carrier? What do? You grab a bulldozer, a dump truck, and a robot mech, of course. In Blast Corps, you'll wreak havoc across 57 levels, clearing buildings in the path of impending doom. One moment you're ramming structures with a bulldozer, and another you're drifting around corners in a truck. Each vehicle's got its own flavor of destruction. The puzzle solving comes from switching vehicles, figuring out how to move objects, bridge gaps, and avoid crashing that missile carrier. Things get more intense as you go, with time limits and a soundtrack that speeds up as you do. The real fun? Unlocking hidden levels, completing challenges, and competing for gold medals in time attack mode. It's a weird mix of destruction, strategy, and speed, all wrapped in chaotic, explosive fun. Just don't expect it to go easy on you or your controller. Ridge Racer 64. So, here's the scoop. Ridge Racer 64 came roaring onto the N64, bringing the beloved arcade racing action straight to your living room. Nintendo and Namco teamed up to bring this racing gem exclusively to the N64, and it's got all the drift-heavy action you'd expect. The game's got that classic Ridge Racer feel with slick cars, tight corners, and a soundtrack that'll make you feel like you're in the middle of a race in a high-budget action movie. Forget just one track. There are multiple routes. And racing isn't just about speed, it's about strategy too. The controls are smooth, the cars are fast, and the competition is fierce. You can even unlock hidden cars, which is always a plus. Though it eventually got remade for the DS, nothing beats the nostalgia of the N64 version. Racing fans, buckle up, this one's a wild ride. Force Gemini here. You're a member of a galactic law enforcement team on a mission to stop an insectoid overlord, Mace, from taking over the galaxy. Armed with an arsenal of weapons, you'll battle waves of enemies across 15 interconnected worlds, solving puzzles and saving tribals, who can also get shot if you're not careful. Oops. You can switch between 3 characters, each with abilities. Juno can walk through magma, Vila swims like a pro, and Lupus, well, Lupus hovers. Oh, and don't forget Floyd, your robot buddy, who of course saves the day in a dramatic last-minute sacrifice. The gameplay is a shooter meets action-adventure, where you'll blast through enemies, explore vast environments, and occasionally take a break to race or play some mini-games. It's packed with action, but the real fun comes from the character switching and discovering secrets. A multiplayer deathmatch added some competitive spice if you were looking to duke it out with friends. Just remember, save those tribals or you'll have to redo the whole level. Mace, the Dark Age. Step into the blood-soaked medieval world of Mace. The Dark Age, where the fighting is brutal, the graphics are cutting edge, and the violence is, well, excessive, just the way you'd expect from a late 90s arcade brawler. You'll face off against an eclectic roster of warriors in arenas surrounded by dangerous terrain, where stepping out of bounds could result in a nasty surprise, because why not? The game's biggest claim to fame? It's brutal execution moves that let you graphically slay your opponent when you win both rounds. Very Mortal Kombat, but with a medieval twist. Gameplay-wise, it's all about attacking, evading, and getting the right angle for those signature finishing moves. The environments are interactive, and you can evade attacks by stepping backward or forward into the 3D world. Because what's better than a fighter with a few dodges and jumps? The plot? A classic medieval tale of nations sending their best warriors to kill a dark arts practitioner wielding a super powerful mace. If you want gore, action, and some seriously intense fights, Mace, the Dark Age has you covered.
I have chosen you.
Sin and Punishment. In Sin and Punishment, humanity is not exactly living the dream in 2007. War, famine, and genetically engineered creatures, ruffians, are making life a whole lot messier. You play as Saki and Aeron, battling against the monsters and a corrupt peacekeeping force, trying to save Earth from total destruction. And, oh yeah, there's a bit of accidental ruffian transformation in the mix. Saki falls into a tide of blood, turns into a monster, and, surprise, Aeron might have to shoot him to fix it. But when that doesn't go as planned, you're sent into a trippy dream sequence set 10 years in the future, where you get a glimpse of what happens if things go sideways. Gameplay is all about frantic shooting action. You'll be dodging projectiles and launching counterattacks with your sword, while trying to stay alive in an onslaught of enemies. The rail shooter style ensures you're always moving forward, but you still get full control over your shots. Intense, fast-paced, and with some seriously flashy graphics, Sin and Punishment is a thrilling ride through a dystopian nightmare. Just don't expect any mercy when things get crazy. Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Indy's back at it in 1947, trading in his wartime adventures for another globe-trotting race against the Soviets. The game kicks off with a hunt for an ancient Babylonian power source, the Infernal Machine, rumored to open a portal to another dimension. The Soviets, led by the sinister Dr. Volodnikov, are after it too, hoping to create a weapon more powerful than the atomic bomb. Naturally, it's up to Indy to stop them and collect the 4 parts of the machine before they do. Gameplay is classic Indy-style action, platforming, whip-cracking, puzzle-solving, and a whole bunch of baddies to fight off with your whip, machete, and guns. From rafting in treacherous rivers to jeep chases through the desert, the levels are as diverse as the treasure you're hunting for. But it's not all action. Indiana also needs to solve puzzles, dig for treasure, and keep ahead of the Soviets, who want the machine for their own twisted Cold War plan. And when all hell breaks loose, you can count on Indy to save the day, even if it means a trip to another dimension. Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. You're thrust into a wacky, action-packed adventure where Goemon and his quirky sidekick, Ebisumaru, battle the Peach Mountain Shogun's gang to prevent Japan from turning into a Western-style fine arts theatre. You'll be running, jumping, and cracking your trademark chain pipe while tackling surreal challenges, battling giant robots, and uncovering the bizarre plot behind the gang's antics. It's like a fever dream of platforming, actions, and slapstick humor, all wrapped in a crazy plot involving kidnappings, shrinking magic, and even giant robot duels. As you explore 3D Japanese landscapes, you'll unlock new abilities and use special moves to navigate through fields, forests, and dungeons. The game shines in its over-the-top moments, like riding a giant robot named Impact and smashing through obstacles, or engaging in mini-games, platforming, and boss fights, all set to musical sequences. Add in a few random NPCs, comical dialogue, and a colourful, oddball cast of characters. And you've got a game that doesn't take itself seriously, yet still delivers loads of fun. Pilotwings 64. Back when Pilotwings 64 came out, You are basically living your best airborne dreams. You pick from 6 quirky pilots and take to the skies for a series of missions that include hang gliding, rocket belts, and gyrocopters. You'll need to navigate through rings, land softly, snap photos, and destroy targets while trying to avoid damaging your vehicle. It's a bizarre mix of air sports and precision landing, with points earned based on how well you pull off each maneuver. The game doesn't stop at the basic missions. Unlock bonus events like skydiving, human cannonballs, and even some spring-loaded boot bouncing. For the true explorers, there's Birdman mode, where you get to glide through the game's miniature version of the United States, complete with landmarks like Mount Rushmore, with Mario's face naturally. With smooth controls and a fun variety of objectives, Pilotwings 64 is a wild ride through the sky, with plenty of quirky humor and stunning 3D environments to keep you coming back for more. Speedway USA. The game lets you pick from beloved characters like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Pete, each with their own special stats, whether you're looking for speed, handling, or a bit of both. Your goal? Race through 20 tracks set in famous American cities, from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., while collecting speed boosts, dodging obstacles, and using items like baseballs and paint cans to mess with your opponents. The N64 version brings that classic rare flair, similar to Diddy Kong Racing, with modes like Grand Prix, Time Trial, and multiplayer battles in 4 arenas. There's a nice mix of difficulty levels to keep things fresh, and unlocking new characters by winning gold trophies makes things even more rewarding. It's all the kart racing fun you need, with a side of Disney charm.
3, 2, 1.
F-Zero-X. You're in for a high-speed, futuristic thrill ride where you race through dizzying tracks filled with loops, corkscrews, and dangerous obstacles, all in plasma-powered hovercars. The game throws 30 competitors at you in every race, making for a chaotic, fast-paced experience that requires precision and strategy. Not just that, you can fine-tune your car for maximum acceleration or top speed. With the ability to attack other racers, you're not just racing for position, you're literally smashing through the competition with spin attacks and sideswipe. The game offers 5 exciting race modes, including the heart-pounding Death Race, where you aim to annihilate every other racer in sight. The tracks range from challenging GP races to the randomly generated X Cup, ensuring no 2 races are ever the same. Time trials and multiplayer modes added even more layers of fun, while the ability to boost, drift, and eliminate opponents makes each lap an adrenaline-packed battle.
これがウルトラゴージャスエレクトのゴーストリターンマシンでこれなんでかそれは
Goemon's Great Adventure. Goemon and his quirky crew are back at it, racing against time to stop the evil Bismaru, who's stolen a resurrection machine with plans to bring the ancient prince of the underworld, Dochuki, back to life. Set in a fantastical, wacky version of Edo period Japan, Goemon and his friends must journey through 5 colourful worlds, battling creepy undead creatures, giant robots, and solving puzzles to save the day. Think of it as a wild ride through Japanese folklore with a side of sci-fi, absurd humour, and giant mechs. The gameplay is a 2.5D platformer where you'll guide Goemon, Ebisumaru, Sasuke and Yae through various stages. Along the way, you'll explore towns, battle bosses, and even get to pilot giant robots in some over-the-top action-packed fights. What sets this game apart is the offbeat humour and the surreal story, including underwater levels, floating islands, and plenty of bizarre encounters. Fight zombies, dive into dungeons, or deal with a fart-powered final boss, Goemon's Great Adventure keeps the laughs and action flowing. Beetle Adventure Racing. Here, you're racing in the most iconic little car, the Volkswagen New Beetle, across a variety of tracks filled with shortcuts, hidden crates, and lots of chaos. Developed by EA Canada and Paradigm Entertainment, this game mixes classic racing with a bit of vehicular combat. The goal? Race to the finish line, collect coloured ladybugs, or HSV pendants in the Aussie version, destroy crates, and beat other players. The multiplayer modes, especially Beetle Battle, take it up a notch by having you race for ladybugs while smashing opponents, giving it that extra competitive edge. The game has solid single-player modes with 3 circuits: Novice, Advanced, and Professional, unlocking new tracks and vehicles as you progress. And if you complete everything, you unlock the bonus circuit, which brings in some fun surprises, like the alien Beetle with its "We Come in Peace" horn, or the police Beetle, which makes all other racers pull over with its siren. Plus, there are collectible crates scattered around each track, including point crates that give bonus points for continues, nitro crates for speed boosts, and cheat crates that unlock fun Easter eggs and cheats. Turok 3: Shadow of Oblivion. The universe as we know it is obliterated, and only Oblivion, a monstrous cosmic entity, remains a relentless force of destruction that now seeks to break through the Netherscape and consume everything in its path. As the current Turok, Joshua Fireseed, fights to protect his family, the story passes the mantle to his sibling, Danielle and Joseph. You'll pick one of them to play, with Danielle offering higher jumps and heavy weapons, while Joseph specializes in stealth and sniper attacks with night vision. The game features 16 weapons per character, some upgradable, and a plethora of explosive action. As you infiltrate Oblivion's lair and battle through hordes of enemies, you'll face not just terrifying foes but massive bosses in thrilling first-person combat. Multiplayer mode, with modes like Capture the Flag and Monkey Tag, added even more fun, although not included in the remastered version. With a deep, dark plot and intense gameplay, Turok 3 delivers an action-packed ride through the Lost Lands as you try to stop Oblivion's reign of terror. Harvest Moon 64. You inherit your grandfather's rundown farm and are tasked with restoring it to its former glory. This charming farm simulation game allows you to plant crops, take care of livestock, participate in town festivals, and even fall in love. You'll begin with a humble setup, including a bare barn and chicken coop, and will gradually expand your farm by purchasing animals, tools, and upgrades. The game's beauty lies in its relaxing pace and rewarding progression, where each season brings new challenges and opportunities. Each day is limited by time and stamina, so you'll need to manage your farm wisely. Growing crops like turnips, potatoes, and corn requires planning, and seasonal changes mean you'll have to prepare for withering crops as the year shifts. Taking care of animals is just as important. Cows, sheep, and chickens provide milk, wool, and eggs, but they need your attention to stay healthy and productive. Ogre Battle 64 Person of Lordly Caliber. In this last game, you take command of a battalion as Magnus Gallant, a young officer caught in the midst of a civil war in the Kingdom of Palatinus. The game mixes real-time strategy and RPG elements, offering a battle system where units of up to 5 members, led by characters from various classes, fight against enemy formations. The game is structured around several chapters, each with specific objective, but you're free to choose how to deploy your units and tackle the missions. Battles unfold on an isometric battlefield, with characters making real-time attacks using skills, critical hits, and strategic parries. The game features a vast class system, allowing characters to change classes and fit different roles within your unit. The story progresses as Magnus joins the revolution, leading his Blue Knights against the Holy Lodis Empire, the dark hordes of the Netherworld, and other enemies. Along the way, his decisions influence the outcome of the war, with 3 possible endings determined by the player's chaos. Each ending gives a different fate to Magnus, ranging from being seen as a hero to being forgotten in disgrace. The Nintendo 64 may have been home to a few giants, but it was the hidden gems and unique titles that truly left their mark. Whether they broke the mold with gameplay mechanics, introduced us to new worlds, or took risks that other consoles wouldn't dare, these 15 games proved that the N64 wasn't just about big-name franchises, it was about creativity, innovation, and the willingness to try something different. If you're looking to revisit some of the most inventive titles the console has to offer, these unique N64 games should definitely be on your radar.